What's up, everybody? Furin here, and we are at it today with another Siege video. Gonna see who we pull in just a moment here. And we got back-to-back Fury, same as we got last Siege, and then we also got say swag again. We're gonna go really quick into this first attack. We're gonna hit a Momo, Iris, and Theo. We're taking in our Wincleave of Chunkpunk, Savannah, Tiana. This is a little risky. I considered doing the Galleon variant. But there's no HP lead. We're probably going to be built minus wind, and we put Delta on light to try and kill this Iris just as quick as possible. So that's going to be the main thing that I think messed us up. So we land our defense breaks. I definitely misplayed here. I think I skill won the Theo when I should have hit into the defense break. I think I was trying to land a slow buff, and then we just barely don't kill anything. Iris gets the revenge into the triple despair, into the Theo proc. Momo finishing off the Savannah, getting stunned again, and we are like close to bringing it back here, but you know, Theo procs again, and we are just toast here. So watching this back, I think I got a little unlucky with the Iris despairs. We didn't get a revenge in the first 2 hits, which again, it's single revenge, so not that crazy, but we should have hit that Momo on the Savannah second turn. That's my mistake. We're going to try and find some redemption. We're going to hit this Nagong, Dominic, and Mali. Kind of a single threat comp. I considered doing something with anti-revive, but ended up deciding to take a Logan comp here. Arena isn't great at tanking a Dominic for long, but with the high damage output and Delta on win from the Logan, we're hoping to just keep it dead as much as possible, so that we can not get super short on this arena. I think that was another misplay. My thought was to let the revive go off with the dot. I miscalculated the Mali's turn, so that was actually a pretty big misplay there. We're still okay here though. We're gonna try and time this so we just kill the Dominic after his next turn, and that the Soul Protect goes away, and then we'll actually have a fair amount of time without this Dominic on the field. This is still going to take a little bit longer. We're going to try and just destroy down this Nagong. I ended up building a little bit tankier on this Logan here because we're not really controlling any of the light units here. As you can see, they both kind of go in for the Logan. We have double sustain, not either of these being huge sustain units, but we do have some healing to protect him. And I think as long as we can keep killing the Dominic as fast as possible, then this will end up being a win. We're going to go into this 4-star defense that SSA was running, which was the Beta, Faye, and Triana. We're taking in a variation of Garo Redford with the Tinkyun, the Light Drunk Master. And we're just going to go through Triana passive and kill this Faye. If it gets revived by the Beta, we're just going to kill it again. We're going to go for damage on this Beta as we can to try and kill that second. But I think this comp doesn't really work with a Bruiser Faye. We'll be able to run laps around them if it's, you know, not a high damage Faye. I think the chance for this winning is that the Faye gets a turn somehow and then just one-shots my squishy team. So we're fine just rotating through. We're able to get the Faye down, and then 3v1, we should be able to kill this Triana fairly quickly. The anti-crit does make this a little slower since my bird won't cycle quite as much, but we actually bring a little bit of sustain and just a little bit more damage with this Light Drunken Master over the Garo. And there we go, finishing it off. We're going to go into this LD tower of Tian Lang, Iris, and Royd. We're bringing in a Leo, Royd, and Riley. My initial idea here was to run big minus water on all these units and then just try and stop the Tian Lang from taking as many turns as possible. We have pretty much a full tank Theo build here and a triple HP with high defense Royd. we noticed that there is Nemesis on this Tian Lang, and we also heard from a previous person who hit this defense that the Theo was on Revenge, so we were a little bit worried about taking extra damage from that. So we're doing some work onto this Tian Lang. Gets the defense break on my Darien, or not my Darien, the Roy, which is probably the squishiest unit, and then stuns almost the whole team. And we start getting a little more scared at this point of the Theo damage, and I decide, I think, here to switch over to hitting the Theo. Maybe not quite yet. Right, almost going down here. I think maybe here I decide to switch to the Theo. We're able to get some more HP back from Riley, just doing insane sustain. And I think that hitting the Theo does two things. One, we're just noticing that's the main thing that's hitting us. I thought that with the Leo and the minus water, the Tian Lang would be a bigger threat. But by hitting the Theo, we're reducing its damage output a lot by potentially getting an attack breakup from the Roid and also just pushing its attack bar back. I think we're just going to go ahead and use the skill 4 here. We're not that worried of the Riley dying because it's just so insanely tanky with minus water. And yeah, this Theo was pretty high damage. We noticed the Roid almost died, but as soon as we turned into the Theo, we made pretty short work of it. And then once the Theo is down, the rest of this defense doesn't really have enough damage to threaten me, and we'll be able to come out of here with a win. We're going to hit another SSA defense here. They're running a lot of these variants of Momo Mali. This one is a Momo Mali Kraka. It's interesting because it has the AoE defense break from both the Kraka and the Momo, and it's a pretty high protect the Momo comp because you have the revives plus the Mali passive. What we decided to do here is run a Tessarian, Raccoon, and Kamoon. Basically just triple fire so that the Momo doesn't have a ton of damage threat into my units. I'm actually running minus wind on a couple of these as well. I think minus win on the Tessarian and the Raccoon, and then plus damage dealt on a win on the Kamoon. We throw the skill 2 on the Tessarian into the Mali just to bait out the shield, because we just want to keep up Oblivion as much as possible on this Momo, and hopefully get as many skill 1 recovery blocks from the Kamoon as well. So at the beginning here, we're kind of just playing for destroy damage, looking to knock that Momo down and keep on the Oblivion as much as possible so we don't take damage. I'm not really that worried about damage from the Kraka, and I think that eventually we'll be able to take out the Momo and then start spreading our damage a little bit more. But the more that we can keep it Oblivion and the more that we can keep it down, the less that it'll stack and the less damage it does to my team. I think you might have noticed earlier that even though it's off element and the Tessarian here is a pretty tanky build, a couple of procs into a defense break on the Tessarian, the Momo actually has some kill potential here. So we're spreading out our Oblivions a little bit here in an attempt to negate the Mali passive as well. We get the crit to finish off the Momo for the first time. And then this Kraka is going to go ahead and revive back up the Momo. But we'll be able to work through this again, just slow and steady, using the Raccoon to cycle a little bit more. Trying to keep Oblivion up on the Mali and the Momo as much as possible, and heal block on the lowest health target as much as possible too, while our Raccoon is able to keep off most defense breaks and stuns as they come through, doing that 1 turn cleanse or 1 debuff cleanse. Yeah. All right, and now with the Mali down, we're able to put a defense break into this Kraka, proc 1 more time, finish it off, and finally finish off this team. We're going to hit another similar comp, but this time it's a Nora instead of the Kraka, so less AoE defense break chance. It's the only the win into fire. We're going to take a similar comp, but this time we're going to take a Juno, Lala, and Tessarian. Again, Tessarian does a lot here, Oblivion into all these units. We actually have a Bio Destroy Juno here. It's actually just a similar build to what the Kamun was on. I'm not really that worried about wanting to spare stuns here. I think that the Mali cleanse will end up doing a bit too, so I'd rather just have more damage here. And then again, similar idea. Lala is really great into the Nora in that we have just a ton of heals, and even if it gets taunted, that skill 1 heal is still doing a lot there. You can see 9.1k heal. We're also getting a ton of heals from the Juno whenever it goes, and then we just have our typical Bruiser Tessarian build. I think I built this Juno a little bit on the fly. I stole some of her runes for other things, and I'm not sure what artifacts she has, but she's just not doing a ton of damage here, hitting for 1.4k with into wind. She doesn't need to actually be that tanky here. I think the highest risk of something dying is probably either the Tessarian or the Lala. The Juno just, is going to heal herself and not going to take damage from those dots because of her passive. So not really that worried about her dying. So I could have made sure that she was on a really high damage build. And you can see here we're not super killing this Momo, or we're more working through it with destroy damage and hoping to get a kill once we end up getting her down to 30-50% destroy. And again, this time we don't have the Cracker Revive to have to work through. So once we kill Momo, this is just going to end up being a win. And hope we get a defense break here. The last hit gets it, and we get the proc to finish off the Momo, but not quite. Oh, the glance. Lives with 1 HP. Mali bringing it back up, but Juno is able to finish it off here. And we'll be able to finish out this pretty easily from here. All right, we're going to hit into some twins here. Our first hit we're going to do with just a mere Nailution. We're taking damage dealt on wind on the Lucian, and just a typical right side artifact. Pretty simple here. We're just going to kill everything, maybe not the Shina, and then 3v1, she's not going to be able to take out the rest of the team. I think one small thing that's good just to think about is that add damage by speed is pretty nice on the Mirne for these instances. She has the triple hit with the skill 2 and pretty high speed, so you're building her to go first. And in these 3v1 situations versus the Shina, having that add damage can help make a difference from you getting procced on and dying. But pretty clean there. We're going to go into another MST, this time with the Tractor Windy Lulu. I personally don't do this a lot. We ended up having to hit a lot of MST at the end of the siege. And I feel like Tractor Windy Lulu is pretty ubiquitously used, but it seems like one of the easier defenses to trap since it's pretty slow. So like Destroy Twins can be really good against this, or like heavy damage Triana can be really good against this. A couple adjustments that I made for this team is we have a Bio Destroy Tractor that's on really high damage. So you notice that I just have add damage on his left side. We're mostly worried about potentially the Shina, the Triana being on damage. And so we have a little bit of minus wind. But again, I'm more worried about being able to kill these things in like a reasonable time frame. The Windy is just actually on triple revenge with full add damage. There's no minus element here. I'm not worried at all about that dying. And then the Lulu has big minus wind as well. Worried about a potential crit damage Triana just hitting into the defense break. And again, I don't do this a ton. The trick to being able to Tractor Windy Lulu into this comp is killing the Martina first and knowing when to buff and when not to. Potentially I could have actually skill 3'd there. You want to be able to play off keeping down the twins as much as possible to stop the buffs from being stolen, because something that people forget about a lot is not only does Martina strip, but every time she steals a buff, she actually passively increases her damage for the rest of the battle. So as much as you can sustain without having any buffs for her to steal, the less damage she's going to do over the course of the match. And then make it easier for you to not die to that damage. So we're going to, again, continue working on this Martina. We get a stun here, and we proc out on the Lulu, so we decide to finally put up a buff because we're kind of running a little bit low on HP. Unfortunately, I decided to buff, and the Martina procs out. But we're finally getting this Martina a little bit lower health position. Triana is not a ton of sustain, so you are able to work through this kind of eventually. And you can see here the Triana isn't really keeping up as much with healing this Martina. And as soon as we're able to work through just a couple more hits, I think I purposefully proc the Triana passive here. And then I think skill 1 from this Windy plus a skill 1 from the tractor, we're able to finish it off. And now these units, we should be okay from this point out. As soon as we kill the Martina, we're able to buff more freely. But again, not my first choice in the twins. I know a lot of other people like it, and there's probably some small things that I could be doing differently. But overall, man, just feels like you're clenching the whole time. For our last hit here, we're going to hit another one of these Momo defenses. It's going to be this Momo Mali again. We're going to take in a Bulwark Amelia Molong. We switched this up just a little bit in that I moved my Amelia in front of the other units in case we somehow got taunted by the Nora. It's a pretty low chance to get stripped into taunted on water units especially, but in order for this snipe comp to fail, the Nora would have to taunt both one of my Molong and Bulwark and the Amelia, so I wouldn't be able to cleanse it as long as I run that first. And then as soon as we kill that Momo, this comp just has no threat, and we'll be able to eventually cycle through and combo the Bulwark Molong into individual kills on each of these units. All right, and here is the map going into the Armistice with both us and SSA out of attacks. So exciting to see that we are able to beat them out just by a little bit in this 1v1, leading by 400 points kind of going into this part. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.